ESPN dropped its top 50 players in the college football playoff. They ranked them too, from 1 to 50. It looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Georgia Bulldogs on the list. I'm looking at the list. I've been looking at the list, thinking about, did they leave any dogs off? Are these the right Georgia Bulldogs on the list? Should people be higher or lower? This list is interesting to me. It's always hard to rank players in the sport of football when they're all playing different positions. They all have very different jobs. It's not like basketball, right? When there are different jobs and different roles, but at the end of the day, everyone's trying to do the same handful of things on the court. With this, you see quarterbacks. You see all of the positions. They've got Dan Jackson at number 48. They've got Malachi Starks at number 27. Tate Ratledge at number 25. And Jalen Walker at number 12. No Georgia Bulldogs made the top 10 for this ESPN list. I'm trying to decipher who's got the most. It looks like it's Oregon. Oregon's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. So this list is compiled. I think every single team is definitely represented on here, yes. And let's talk more about it. Ashton Genty's number 1 from Boise State. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Ashton. If you want to tell me that the Heisman runner-up is the best player in the college football playoff, I'm not going to argue with you. He's got 2,400 yards. The guy's he could end up with 30 touchdowns this season. He's having a ridiculous year. They've got Dylan Gabriel at number 2. I think that's fine. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in college football this year. He's doing exactly what Oregon brought him in to do, which is run that offense, get the ball to those weapons, extend plays, make those plays. He's been a very good replacement for Bo Nix. He hasn't been quite as prolific as Bo Nix was a season ago, but he's been very, very good. Cam Scatteraboo at 3. Tyler, the running back from Arizona State. Tyler Warren, number 4. He's the Penn State tight end. They've got Kelvin Banks Jr., that's the tackle, the offensive tackle for Texas at 5. Abdul Carter, defensive end for Penn State at number 6. They've got Jahdae Barron, a defensive back. He's ranked number 7. He wears number 7 on Texas, if you're not familiar. They've got Dylan Sampson, Tennessee's running back, at 8. Anthony Hill Jr., the outside linebacker for Texas, at 9. Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver, the freshman wide receiver for Ohio State, they've got him at 10. Jeremiah Love, the running back for Notre Dame, at 11, and Jalen Walker at 12. So those are the guys that they had ahead of the Butkus Award winner. Let's talk about Jalen Walker for a second. I know he's got 6.5 sacks. I'm trying to confirm the rest of his stats for you so I don't say something wrong. 58 total tackles. He has a pass deflection. He's got a fumble. He's got 2 fumble recoveries, right? So this is a guy that won a major award. When I look at this list, I see all sorts of really good names on it. You don't see Carson Beck. Well, we don't think he's going to play. Carson Beck would be on this list 100% if we knew that he was going to be out there. There's a lot of unknown with his injury. The assumption and the reporting is that it will be Gunnar Stockton in the Sugar Bowl and probably for the entire playoffs. But I think in terms of names, they got a lot of great names on this list, and they got it right. You have to have Tate Ratledge on there. This is an All-American lineman, and you could tell that Georgia's line plays better with him. If there's a snub on Georgia's offensive line that I thought could have been thrown in there, it's Dylan Fairchild, another All-American offensive lineman. They did not put him on this top 50 list. I think that he certainly could have been on the top 50 list. There's a handful of offensive linemen. Some of them, they're going to be NFL guys, and that's the case with Dylan Fairchild too. Definitely someone that I thought could have ended up on this list. I'm going to get more into it. Ryan Curley from Dawg Post talking about the top 50 college football players list for ESPN. The link is down below for our newsletter. It's Thursday. Final Feelings is going to be on the website. If you're familiar with that, that's one of our best features over at dawgpost.com. If you are a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, you can see a little blurb of it. Maybe check out a subscription and see if it's for you. At least try it. We've got trials, right? But the link for the newsletter is down below. Make sure you're checking it out. It's the easiest way to keep up with what we do and to keep up with what's going on with the Georgia Bulldogs, because every day we try to, at least once a day, send you a notification. Hey, this is the content and this is what's going on. And sometimes it's breaking news. And there could be breaking news with the transfer portal and the college football playoff. So, I want to talk about these Georgia guys. I don't know which direction I want to go with this first, but why is Will Howard on this list? To me, he's been limiting Ohio State's offense, and I don't have any hatred towards Will Howard, but to me, I think he limits a little bit of what Ohio State can do. They have guys like number 10, Jeremiah Love, and I'm waiting to see. I don't think I see Emeka Egbuka on this list. They don't have him on the list. The other wide receiver. They've got Carnell Tate, another good wide receiver. Brandon Innies, another good wide receiver. The weapons on the outside for Ohio State are borderline unmatched across college football. And I get it when you've got Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson in the backfield. But to me, this offense has not been airing it out the way I think that it should with the weapons that it does have. And you see multiple Ohio State offensive linemen on this list. And it's just like, well, why can't they get this right? I don't truly understand it. So I don't know if Will Howard, to me, is one of the 50 best players on this list. And I know that maybe that's a hot take. Dan Jackson, number 48. This guy, man. He is third on Georgia in tackles. He's got 2 interceptions. And he is always flying around the ball. Rarely do I see a broken play happen or a defense play happen, and it looks like it's Dan Jackson's fault. He's a great run defender. He goes up there and he delivers the hit. A guy that well-deserved got on this list. I think that Jalen Walker should have been in the top 10. I look at the top 10 and I say, that's a great group of football players. I think Jalen Walker is extremely impactful. But I'm not going to be mad about him being behind certain guys. Dylan Sampson's an absolute stud. He's a running back. Does he have the same value? He's a big part of Tennessee's offense. Caleb Downs at number 19. To me, that's too low. Caleb Downs, this is a Mill Creek kid. He from Georgia. You guys are familiar with Caleb Downs. Went to Alabama, then transferred to Ohio State. He, to me, is one of the top 3 or 4 best defensive players in college football. And I think he deserves to be higher on this list when they have him at number 19. I don't completely understand that one. I'd argue that Andrew Makuba, the safety for Texas, should be a little bit higher than 24. I think that guy is a legit NFL player. I think he's a stud. You look at the quarterbacks on this list. They've got Riley Leonard at number 43, Will Howard at number 42, Drew Aller at number 38. They've got Kevin Jennings of SMU. They've got him ranked higher at number 30. So they're valuing Kevin Jennings higher than Aller, Riley Leonard, and Will Howard. I think that's pretty interesting. I don't see Quinn Ewers on this list. So it kind of goes to show how people are feeling about the way that Quinn Ewers is playing right now. I don't see Nico Iamaleava on this list. Right? So I think that there are some interesting things about it. It goes to show, hey, maybe people are paying attention. Nico Iamaleava has been very talented. He's very good. He hasn't had the season and the progression that people might think. And Tennessee's offense is a little bit one-dimensional is not a good way to describe Tennessee's offense, but I think a lot more reliant on the run game than what people were expecting with the cannon and the talent that Nico possesses. So he's not on this list. They don't have Ewers on this list. Why? People want Arch Manning out there. Ewers has been struggling ever since he came. Struggling. In a way, he struggled against Georgia twice. He hasn't looked fantastic against really the rest of the competition. Solid against Florida. But Texas, really, in the back half of the year, Florida is the best game that they played. Obviously, went on the road and beat Texas A&M. But I didn't think they looked spectacular. They've got Cade Klubnik at number 26, ranked 1 spot ahead of Malachi Starks. I'm going to tell you this right now. Cade Klubnik is going to really struggle against that Texas defense out in Austin on 4 o'clock on Saturday. That's going to be a real struggle fest. Why? They put up some nice numbers. They had a lot of explosive plays and a lot of broken plays that they succeeded on this season. I don't think it's going to work against Texas. We saw them play an SEC defense twice this year. They put up a combined 17 points, 14 against South Carolina, 3 against Georgia. He's talented and he's fun. I don't know if he's number 26, though. I don't know if he's number 26. I think in terms of the defensive talent, they got it right for the most part. One guy who, to me, it's surprising, and it's purely off of the production. Michael Williams didn't make this list. He only has 20 tackles this season, but he has the 5 sacks. Obviously missed a couple games. He's a guy who just makes these types of lists, so I thought he's somebody that they would have put on there. I think it's interesting that they didn't put Trevor Etienne on this list. I think that he's been an extremely impactful running back. But yeah, you look at this, they didn't put Quinshon Judkins. They didn't put, the only 2 running backs on this list, to me, well, they've got Brashard Smith as well for SMU. So I'm mistaken. There are 3 running backs on the list. 4 running backs, because I forgot about Jeremiah Love. Brashard Smith, Jeremiah Love, and they've got Jordan James, but they've got all those guys ahead of Quinshon Judkins. I don't know. It's quite the list. Thanks for watching.